How do they start? How do you start them? What do they sound?
I don't know.
Tell a joke. I told one yesterday to a service user and one of the carers, and I got told to shut up. And all it was, have you ever had a kebab? I said, have you ever had a kebab that starts talking to you? I said, what you do is go, shh, kebab.
Oh, that's a bit lame, isn't it? God.
And I've been trying to get some of the service users on this. Someone tells me you sound like an owl.
Oh. God.
Yeah, you're the first one that fell for that.
Oh,
Oh, typical.
Since last Christmas when you were...
Oh, no. He's weighed me up already. Busted.
right, anyway.
Yes,
anyway.
that's enough Tony jokes.
I mean, do we introduce ourselves?
I don't know.
Well, I'm the nutty one. So, what are we talking about? Just mental health? Are we just talking literally how we're going to go forward with this?
A bit of both, I think. Just,
Because I kept thinking in the car, if I talk about my mental health literally to detail on here, like you say, you'll be here till Christmas. And the other thing is, I know I'll have nothing to talk about with the people when we go out.
no, it's more of a general just chat around mental health and, how people don't talk about it and why they don't talk about it and why it's important.
I didn't, because I was scared to.
Scared too, for what reason?
Well, I'm telling everybody you had an issue and a problem.
Yeah.
Owning up is one thing, and they always say, like, when I had the alcohol thing, I remember going to the doctors and he went, like, all the insides are all healthy and that, and Christ, I pickled everything because I was drinking.
Huh.
So I thought, then that was a good thing that I was an alcoholic, but it wasn't.
No.
Because if I'd have carried on, they said within a couple of years, your organs would have packed up, you'd have been a goner. And that's that reality thing going, I've got to change. And then also, you do notice when you're drinking, you don't know what time of day you're at. And you're waking up literally with the shakes and things like that. And it's a struggle to do normal day-to-day stuff.
Mhm.
And you'll switch everybody off. And the one thing then you know when you've got a problem is when you're looking at the fridge going, really fancy a beer. Just to
What,
sell,
any
just
time
sell,
of
yeah,
day?
any time of day. I just want a beer just to stop the shaking,
Just
make
go
yourself
with
better. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Some people do, but no.
But I know what you mean. I mean, my sister, she used to fall asleep with a can of cider, and then she'd wake up in the morning and finish the can that she'd fell asleep with.
Oh no, see now that's weird for an alcoholic. I had rules. They've got to be ice cold,
Right?
see? And yeah, if one been left and it started to go flat, can't drink it.
Oh,
Weird, isn't it?
So it's quite expensive addiction to have as
It
well.
was, yeah.
Isn't it?
But yeah, it was that bit where you own up to actually saying, right, I've got to sort out, because if I carry on, I'm not going to be here.
yeah.
Out of everything that I went through, talking about it become easy once you've spoke to one person and then they've understood it. They don't, oh, you're an idiot, you shouldn't be doing that, and and then when they start giving you the health talk, you do switch off with that because you're like, oh, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. So when you got somebody that's just going, it's okay, Tony, you might even find if you can cut back slowly on the beer, do it that way instead of just cutting it straight off, because you'll find you'll struggle a lot more. And then when you've got somebody that when you do fancy a beer and you're craving one, you can phone up a number going, right, fancy a beer, it's doing me head in. And they go, right, meet us outside so-and-so, we'll have a quick walk. And it's doing something different then. So you're at that house, not thinking about the beer. And obviously the biggest thing is try and get rid of everything in the house.
Oh, anything
It's
related to
temptation,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
And unfortunately, you've got garages that sell alcohol.
Well, it's just everywhere now.
But the thing was, when you're at home and you've run out of beer, like on a Sunday, and the shops are all shut, so it's doing that thing when you've got nothing in the house, you've got nowhere to run, you can't do nothing.
Yeah, but like you said, there's shops are open 24/7.
Yeah.
Society's made it a lot easier, and isn't it?
People can send a taxi.
Oh,
to
people
go
say,
get a
yeah,
food.
you can do it. I mean, I've been heard of that recently about people wanting like shopping.
Yeah.
And I think, what do you mean shopping? And
But the thing is,
in the middle of
people-
the night and get it delivered like from Waitrose.
People think they haven't got an alcohol problem just because they have a few glasses here and there. The thing is that if you say to yourself, well, how many drinks do you have in a month? They
Yeah.
reckon that you're actually supposed to, you could probably have about 5 glasses or something a month. Anything over, they actually say that is an addiction. because you're
Yeah.
reliant on something when you're stressed.
Do they go by the amount that you drink or the fact that it's
It's
a
normally
day?
units
Is
is
it
what we go.
units, is it?
Yeah.
I think there's an element of not necessarily how much drink you all, but why you're drinking.
Yeah.
And if
That's
you
what I
drink
said about
for
the stress.
wrong reasons,
It's everybody will, if they really admit that most of them, I know it sounds funny, but I've not got kids, but I've spoke to a lot of mums and have seen it when I've worked in the pubs and when I've worked elsewhere. It's the mums that are buying bottles of wine and the kids are doing me head in, I've got to have a glass of this. That's all stress though. And you need to find somewhere else to channel it. But it's so hard, but you can't.
People do when they've got like stress and, you know, any type of mental health issue, they do look for other outlets, don't they?
Yeah.
And it is always them types of things, isn't it? So anyway, just talking about or thinking about, you know, your role as our mental health champion. We don't really want a lot of people to be coming to you, you know, because that means
Hopefully
we've got
not.
a problem within our workforce. But
But the ones that have come forward so far, I can probably say a couple had little issues.
yeah,
And it was there because I supported them, but they've been okay. Now the other ones that have come forward have actually we do that checking in thing on each other, which is nice, and it's done me a lot of good because I know that, like I've mentioned a few names already, that there's some that I speak to every day. Now I've got ones that speak to me just every week. And the nicest thing is if they struggle at work, they actually do. Well, they're actually at work. I've had it on a Friday at 8:30, and my mobile's gone off. I'm thinking, oh. So I answered it, and I went, sorry to disturb you, Tony. Well, I'm stuck at so-and-so. What do I do? La, la, la. And even that 5-second phone call helping them out, well, they've now relaxed, done the job, gone home.
yeah.
And then I then get a message going, really, really sorry to disturb you on the hour. That's what we're here for. Because I'd rather they did that than get stuck.
I'd rather they ask their colleagues than, you know, think, oh, I can't.
But
cope
I
with
put
it.
I put the mental health thing on because I want to be there 24/7. Like I said, with my status on Messenger, it's supposed to be open 24/7, so they don't feel they're disturbing me. Although I had a moment the other day, Messenger played up and went often, so I had to put on my Facebook page, please don't think I'm ignoring you.
Oh, right. Okay.
Wouldn't let me do anything.
You say about not many people. This is a stressful time of year. When I was out for recording this, well, it's 1st of December, and for a lot of people, this is a stressful time of year. Not just the pressure of Christmas, but also the finances of Christmas. We're coming into winter with financial pressure and everything as well. So, you know, there might be people who are suffering with mental health who don't want to talk and be open about that because, I don't know, the stigma of letting families down or themselves down or just feeling stupid because they just
Well, I probably do what I've done in the past. Like I said, last couple of years, I shut myself off. I had an invitation from a lad from a garage saying, would you like to come over for Christmas dinner with me and the missus, because we know you're on your own. I went, no, I've got family coming over. No, I didn't. I didn't want to be that person that was reliant on somebody else. And it made me feel guilty in a way, thinking, you know, and then I felt that, what am I going to do on my own? I thought, I hated Christmas Day for the last 2 years, just being on my own. And yet, at the end of the night, the whole day, that just went really quick. And the horrible thing that I actually started hating was watching the adverts on TV where you see this massive table and there's 15 family members sitting around it with everything's perfect.
Reality, though, is it?
No, but when you're on your own, that's the difference.
for anything.
I don't
No, but that's what I'm saying though. When you're on your own and you see that, you don't know. I don't know personally. Like for yourself, or you, when you've got your kids and your family, are you all doing that?
Right.
Whereas for me, I'm thinking, I don't do that. Seriously, I was thinking, as a single person, that's what it's like when you're on your own over Christmas. You're thinking that all these other families having all this lovely time, and you end up
But I think
overthinking it when you're sat there in your chair at 2 PM going,
it's a lot different to what it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, when I was a lot younger, I mean, I was talking like in the 80s, you know, when I was growing up in the 80s, and everything closed down on Christmas Eve, you know, that was it. You know, if you didn't get your shopping by 12 o'clock, you had no hope of getting anything else. Nothing was open for a good week between Christmas and the New Year. So I can understand why people would get extremely lonely. Whereas now the stores are open again Boxing Day. So you've got to try and put it into context that it is only one day and then life kicks back
but
in.
that's how we cope when you're
Yeah.
on your Todd.
That's right. I'm saying when you put it into perspective from how it used to be, a whole week of not being able to connect with anybody, because you can go to the supermarket and connect with somebody, can't you? There's people around you,
Yeah.
and actually Boxing Day in
But
supermarkets.
the thing is, no one can connect and then wanting
Want
to
to get
connect,
outside.
Yeah.
because I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah, it must be really difficult for some people. And I think, you said about the financial burden because we're all under so much pressure. And I think it was Martin Lewis. I always remember what he said. He's the money guru, isn't he? And he was saying that you don't have to have matching pajamas. You don't all have to have a stocking hanging over the fireplace because all these it's marketed that way, isn't it? These big stores, they're showing families all wearing the same pajamas, mum and dad, 3 kids,
Opening
straight
Christmas Eve box.
opening Christmas Eve boxes. And again, when I was growing up, I never heard of a Christmas Eve box. You got your presents on
Yeah.
Christmas Day. What was this Christmas Eve? I've got to get it for my kids' Christmas Eve box. I mean,
Yes.
we're all falling for this.
Oh, Christmas,
getting
we
stuff.
were spoiled, I think, when we were younger. Because we'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning and there's a stocking on the bed. You could feel the weight of it. So you could hear the parents, they could hear us, and the first thing was, don't touch it yet. And he was sitting there going, come on. And when it got to 6 o'clock, go on then. And they could hear us, me, my brother, my sister, all in different rooms, the tearing of the paper. Now, all the gifts that we had in that stocking were Satsumas. They were the gold coins and silver coins that were wrapped up, the chocolate ones.
Yeah.
You'd have a selection pack. There was always a school pencil case. There was always new pens, rulers,
Yeah.
and things like that. And then there'd be a couple of little toy things to play with. That were it. That kept you busy until you got up. You had your wash and
then
everything.
you
You
had
got
your break.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Then we had a fry up.
Right.
And the worst part was walking past the lounge, and you'd each have a chair that was mounted with presents. They were from Santa. All the family presents were under the tree. So, of course, you've had your stocking, then you had your chair. So you have your fried breakfast. When you've had your fried breakfast, you had to help Mum wash up, put away. As soon as everything was cleared up in the kitchen, you then got to your chair, and then they go. And you just ripped into everything, and there would be every toy you could think of.
And you valued everything
Yeah.
because you.
And it was a lot different
wait
back
for
then.
you.
Mine- Ours was very similar, except while we were all ripping open the presents, my dad was sitting there trying to make a list of who'd got what from home.
Oh, did you used to want to send off, like thank you
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
No, I can imagine that actually. Your dad doing that. Yeah, he's a gentleman, isn't he? To want to do that. Yeah, no, that's understandable.
But the problem is that the generation now, because I've got the problem is also Christmas Day. I've got nieces' birthdays all through December.
Yeah.
So when you've got that one wage and then you're walking out,
Yes.
there's nearly like 120 odd pounds go out my wages just because they don't want presents.
No, that's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
When you phone out, I go to my sisters and that, what do they want for Christmas? Just send them some money because then they'll just treat yourself to something that they want.
Yeah.
And the problem is that everybody nowadays has already got what they want. Because if you're short, so you just go and buy it, don't you?
Yeah. Well, this is another thing, isn't it? And again, the pressure's on, isn't it? Because we all live in a society when we feel like we have to have all of this stuff. And that, and it does affect you.
Yeah.
You think, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay for that? How am I going to get around this? What are other people going to think of me
That's it.
if I don't have what they've got? And it's a terrible situation.
The worst bit I did a few years back was I kept punishing myself because I thought I'm the only one that's on my Todd. My brother and my 2 sisters have got kids. Now I'm forking out all these money gift vouchers and all their birthday money and things like that because there's also birthdays in December
Yeah.
as well as the Christmas ones. And when you do all that, and when you what you get back is one card from everybody that says "Have a lovely Christmas," and you just think, "Now I'm skinned," and I've got a lovely card. And you just think, I've got to do that every year. So I remember saying to my sisters, I can't really afford to keep doing this because I'm on my own. And they got it and they understood. So what they said was, well, don't buy us like anything. Just treat the kids to whatever you want.
Yeah. I think
And if you
people
just
have to be
want to send them a card. And of course, this year, a couple of them now got phones because they're at an age where they got phones. And it's been nice on their birthdays. I can message them now in the morning and say happy birthday. But the gift side of it now, that's still... It irritates me that you can't go out and buy them something and have that surprise. It's now a case of no cent, put a voucher in, we'll get what we want.
Yeah.
So I think the only way around that is actually going over there yourself, picking them up and going, we're going to the shops, you find something you want, then you're there, aren't you, buying it?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, thinking about our workforce at Christmas, that they might feel, I think they sometimes feel we put them under pressure sometimes, the staff, to do extra shifts, but we always offer that incentive and having, to earn extra money. And I think we recognise that even this time of year, it's so more important, isn't it, for someone to earn a bit of extra money on top of their extra shifts. Like to think that, the little bits that we do pay helps in some way towards funding their Christmas.
I think the
stuff.
firm do all they can really to they can't. You can't produce miracles for the carers. You can't say, "Well, I'm going to get you an extra couple £100 in your account if you." It don't work like that.
No, it doesn't work. Well, I mean, we want to make, like I said, we value our staff, and we're always talking, the meetings that we have, with the directors, we're always talking about ways in which we can, support the staff. I mean, for instance, talking about Christmas, we pay enhanced wages and we don't ever charge our service users extra money. So that's all coming out of another pot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We don't say to the service user on Christmas Day, your visit's double.
Which some companies
May well do, so we certainly don't even consider that. I mean, we actually lose quite a lot of money over that period because people cancel, but we still pay our carers their guaranteed hours. So, and we, when people cancel, that's great. That means that we know all our carers are going to have a bit of time with their families or friends. I'd be horrified if I saw everyone's rota stacked on Christmas. It would worry me, especially for someone that does a lot of work,
Give it to me.
Yeah, so like I said, we try to look at ways to make it easy. We always pay enhancements for travel time and those sorts of things. Yes, we have got some stuff to talk about, which we'll be talking about at the Christmas meetings. Very exciting stuff. Very looking forward to sharing that. Yeah, again, it's all been around what we can do for our staff. We value our workforce so much because they're our biggest asset. If we didn't have them,
I agree.
we wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't have a business.
It's nice to know that I'm not busy as a mental health person for the carers because it shows that the carers are coping. It's gutting that the ones that are struggling are not coming forward. So
well, it's a personal choice.
It is.
And we've promoted it as that. And,
But I've also still happy to keep what I'm doing by offering myself 24/7 of being there because if they woke me up at 3 in the morning, well, I've been out in my days off quite a few times now.
Yeah.
And I've been out nearly all day.
Yeah.
And if I added up the chats that I've recently had, that would probably be nearly a week, I think, in the last 2 months that I've never mentioned it to anybody. That it's because I'm a bit passionate thinking
that you weren't going to disclose stuff, and we've kept with that, haven't we?
Of course we have.
That, and I would be the same, in menopause awareness and, being the person to talk to if staff were happy to. I mean, thankfully, I've not had anyone come talk to me. Maybe that's,
Don't laugh. I'm actually serious. This is actually a thing now. I actually did hear about this, and I think it was on the radio. Men do actually struggle with menopause.
Okay.
When I've been joking all along, going, I've got menopause, hence me head sweating and everything. Apparently, it's actually a thing.
Do they struggle with menopause from their menopausal partner?
Well, that could be the same
I think
thing.
that's probably what it is.
But no, there was actually mentioned that there is
actually got
a slight thing that the woman's has. It's not like what the woman has, obviously, but there is something that the man actually struggles with, and it is a link to the menopause.
Do you know what that word means? Menopause.
Yes, it does. It means that men should stop and pause when women are talking.
No, it's a female thing, is it?
Yes.
Menstruation. It's pause. It's stopped. That's it. So it can't be related to men. Those hormones, can it? So I think it's quite derogatory to say that he's going through a menopause. So I think you're actually being quite, do you not? Midlife crisis, maybe.
Yes, that's it. Tell how it is,
I
Jeff.
don't think you should label it with anything.
No, we shouldn't.
I think at the end of the day, there's lots of things that happen in life. With regards to the menopause, it's a complete change. It's and it affects.
To be honest, I think for the bloke, it's not menopause. It's actual mental health.
That's what it is. It's the change.
I mean, the women have got mental health issues, and they've also got the menopause, which it's even worse. To be fair,
yeah, it can be tough. And I've seen friends really, really struggle. I've worked with someone that really sort of threw in a job, really, because of it. You don't realise, until you're experiencing it, and it's how you handle it and how you manage it, isn't it? Really, what you're going to decide to do with those feelings and emotions, whether you're going to let it define you, whether you're going to think, no, I'm going to beat this. But sometimes it's just too strong to beat. You just have to go with it. It just
Obviously,
takes
for me, I've got a lot to learn about menopause, being a fella. But what do they actually do? Do they actually send you to doctors and give you antidepressants or things like
Well,
that?
it's the problem. I think, lots of, sort of information that I've got, and Davina McCall, we'll quote Davina because Davina is I never used to be a big fan, but with regards to this, and I have read her book and I will promote a book, it was very helpful because there were so many people on there talking in the book that, when you can read something and feel, oh God, that's me, or I know somebody.
Yeah, it relates
That
to
is like a complete textbook, yeah. But I think going to the doctors, I mean, obviously for me, it was easy. I think it might have been my age, and I think then the doctor was like, "Do you want to try this? Do you want to try HRT?" There wasn't any mention of antidepressants, and I'd already had my answer. Had she said that, I would have said, look, I'm not depressed, I'm going through this, which is causing me to feel like this. But I think if you're a younger person, because now they talk about the perimenopause, don't they? They say that could be like 10 years prior. So I think if you was like someone who was maybe 45 and you went to the doctors and said, look, I've got perimenopausal symptoms, I think they would tip to the antidepressants because that's quite young.
Yes,
To be going through the menopause.
that's why I was asking it, because
But
all I've ever seen is most ladies are on antidepressants a lot.
Yeah,
and I thought
doctors are not going to give HRT.
they just keep dishing them out a bit.
because they can't dish out HRT. You've got to. HRT is a strong drug. It is. It's really to stress that it isn't just. It's just a serious drug. It can cause lots of side effects. It can do damage, really, if you take it long term. And I think with some younger people, it will be tipping towards the antidepressants, but they're not necessarily looking at what's going on behind it. They're not treating the other symptoms. There's no blood tests that you can have done to determine that you're in that stage of your life with your hormones and everything. So,
But then that's the same with general mental health, isn't it? The doctors don't have the time and resources to put into treating the underlying factors, and it's putting the sticking plaster on top. Not that HRT is a sticking plaster, but the antidepressants and that for perimenopause, or for when people have a mental health blip, if you want to say, they go straight to drugs to deal with the
Yeah,
symptoms.
I've got to actually second that, because when I spoke to my GP, that's nearly 15, maybe 20 years ago, that was antidepressants they wanted to put me on, and I had been on antidepressants when I was homeless. No, that was like a pick me up, and I didn't really know who I was for about a year and a half, and my brother and his partner, they took me in and they saw that I wasn't that person. I don't know who I was for a year and a half, but they kept saying, you got to take this medication, you can't come off of it. And I did that for a year and a half, not knowing who I was, what I was doing. I slept a hell of a lot. And even with the drinking, everything comes to tablets. The first day, that we need to speak to somebody. But even when you say, yes, okay, I need to speak to somebody, but we're going to now fill you on, you've got to take these once a day, take that one stuff. And I just think, well, that's not really helping, isn't it? Because I am a stickler, and even with the health issues I've got now, it's not refusing to take medication. I always put it to my GP, is it necessary I've got to take it? If they said yes, then I would take it. But they went, not really, no. Well, then my point is, why are you giving me something I don't really need to have? I was supposed to be on painkillers when I broke both my legs back in 95. I'd have been immune to painkillers by now.
yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I don't touch them. My brother always said the same to me. He went, think of your insides. If you'd have had them paracetamol 4 times a day, all the way up, and now you're 48 years old, what would your insides be doing? Would it have changed your organs? Who knows?
That's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Again, that's the same thing with the HRT. If you're looking at someone's going to take that into their 60s and then you're going to give that in their 40s, that's a long time to be taking a hormone like that, I think. So that's probably why doctors are reluctant, but they don't explain that. They just, a lot of them don't have any understanding of it.
No.
Same as mental health. They don't have, if they're not trained in that, they just know you're just a bit low. You know,
It is like that.
yeah, that's what it's like.
When I've had my certain issues that they have that little template that they'll read out.
Yeah,
And it's like to everybody. And you think, no, that's not how it is.
Mental health services in Norfolk, particular, are just
It's dire.
it's one of the worst counties for mental health support. That's gone down since the COVID, though, isn't it? That's when it all changed.
Yeah, the COVID though, that took off again just a few months. That seems to have gone quiet again.
Well, the inquiry's going on at the minute, and then all these politicians are lying about all different
COVID
things.
wasn't
All
horrible.
blaming one another. It's like a school.
COVID was very strange for me because I was going through a period where I didn't want to speak to anybody or go out socially, except I loved going to work even more because there was no traffic. I
No,
didn't have that aggro because even now, apart from we do get decent time with travel at the moment. I know some carers say we don't, but my argument is if you haven't got double ups, then stop fretting because you ain't gonna have to worry about it.
exactly.
You just get there when you go there.
Yeah.
I've even had to. I've had a couple of service users. I've walked in. You're 20 minutes early. I've gone, well, I couldn't really help that. Do you want me to go and come back again? I've also had it. You're 20 minutes late. And I'm thinking, well, for Christ's sake, you're in your head, you can't believe it. So what I say to them is your timesheet is just a rough guide of what time I'm going to be here. So what time are you coming tomorrow then?
It does say
So-
that. I mean, we can't, you know.
Yeah, so with this certain client, I just said, look, it's a tea call. I said, any time from 5 till 6. That covers the whole thing that I know I'm going to be coming. And he's now fine. But if I hadn't said that, he'd have been like that every time I went in. And that would do the carers in hearing it.
It's a
But-
generational thing, isn't it?
To teach the carers, though, when they keep frittling on about this travel thing, stop taking that as gospel that you've got to be at this house, you've only got 5 minutes to do it. No. If you've got a double up, it's very simple. You just phone the office up, tell the double up you're running a bit late and you're going to be there roughly at this time. That's all you can do. There's no point bombing around causing
But no, we don't want anyone bombing around. But I understand the stress of trying to, you know, if you.
But is it though? That's what I'm trying to say.
It shouldn't be.
Like for me on Sunday, I've got no double up. I looked at times and I went, yeah, but it's all doable. I'm still going to finish roughly the same time. It doesn't matter.
That's a good way of putting it.
Well, it doesn't. At the end of the day, we're employed. The evening round is 4 till 10.
Yeah.
But I know I start now. I leave home at 3:30, and sometimes I can ever be at home at 8:30. So at the end of the day, I've actually won a lot of battles with finishing earlier over the whole year. And if there's a time I have to work, I mean, I used to work till midnight. That was when we had somebody who's Silverstone, and I loved that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, don't say that, right? Let's have a look at your own.
No, not now. I like finishing early. Do you know what is nice? Is when you've done a couple of late ones and then you do get one where you're actually home at 8:30.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I know that we're still on call, and I know you can still, and that has happened to me before.
Anything can happen.
I've come home, I've got undressed, I thought, well, I won't put it in the washing machine yet. But you've just got into comfy clothes and you've got a cup of tea, and there was about half an hour past the phone rang. Somebody's been forgotten. Can you go to so and so? Oh, I tear around real quick.
That's
Not
not
on there.
good, isn't it? When you say someone's coming round and you think, oh no, I've already took my bra off.
I don't really have
Sort of thing.
but
Oh, but yeah, it's.
use that as an excuse. Tony, you know you've got your mental health problems. That we're coming round for a cup of coffee. You can't. I've got my bra off.
It's a big thing for a woman.
Well,
I'm sorry.
yes, thank you.
No, I'm saying it's so important, you know, for a woman to be able to do that when they get home. It's a massive. It's a game.
I have the issue when people say they're going to come round and see me and want coffee. I'm like a whirlwind in my house to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. My house is always clean, but the thing is, it's just that it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, you place things.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that's been drummed into me. A lot of people say I've got that cleaning thing. Is it CB?
OCD.
So, yeah,
CBD.
CBD. I don't know what it is.
Well, David Beckham's got that, so there you go.
Yeah.
If he's
I
got it.
must admit, in every room, you will find bottles of Dettol, and they're all like in the bathroom. I've got them. It's everything. I do like to keep things a bit like that. I didn't think I was that bad. But-
Yeah. So anyway, you know, that's extra hands, isn't it? We're promoting you, Tony. It's, you know, for people to come and have a chat. Hopefully, we can get carers to come in. That's another focus of the new year. Is
Yep.
to get little group chats together.
Yep. I've already had some feedback from some. They said they were willing to come sit with me and they'd tell their experience of what it was like talking to me. And You know, just being there for them when they needed
Yeah.
somebody. And like I've said, it doesn't actually have to be a mental health issue as such.
No.
It could be just something that
Isn't it?
when you're at work and you've gone through something. If you get stuck with something,
Okay, we want to get those coffees rolling for the Christmas and the mince pies next week. We don't want to be left with a load of them. So carers coming in, have a coffee, take away.
there is another side of that with the carers, bless them, and I do get it. We get fed up with mince pies. Do you know why? It's because every house you go in, it's the family members. Oh, we got you these for carers. When you,
Your lot or something.
it's like, how many mince pies can a man eat? And I'm like,
Mince pies.
no,
So do I.
I've got another family friend that we used to look after many years ago, and I've been friends with them for probably 6-7 years now. And she makes her homemade mince pies, and every year she'll turn up with 14 in a little tin. And I'm just saying, I can't eat 14 mince pies. And now I'm taking them to work. Anybody want mince pie?
Doing away with them. I saw some article
Huh?
on. They're doing away with them.
Nothing.
Apparently, Google it. There was something on the telly about not having mince pies. But then I also watched a video on my TikTok, my guilty pleasure. I was a Canadian lady that I follow that's moved to the UK, and I watched a video of her trying a mince meat. Well, they call it the sweet mince meat, isn't
Yeah.
it? But she was horrified because she thought mince to her is meat.
Yeah.
So she, what do you mean I had a sweet mince pie? Anyway, she wasn't impressed. She bit into it and she wasn't. It is an acquired taste. I mean, I could eat boxes of them, boxes and boxes of them.
When I was little, my nan, I didn't like the pastry, so she used to make them herself, but the lids didn't stick, so I'd take the lid off and then eat the mincemeat out, and she'd refill them for me.
Oh,
And my dad told my stepmom about this, so for years now, my stepmom every year sent her a box of mince pies she's made, and then a little jar to refill them with.
I like that.
that's
That's different.
That's really thoughtful. I mean, I have gone into the supermarket and bought, those little ones that they do.
Yeah.
No pastry.
Yeah, they'd be better if I buy the mini ones. And
Yeah.
I've had the whole box at 12 in like 2 hours.
I like the mince pies with the white topping.
Yeah, the white icing. There's lots to. Someone did add some with custard as well. Like the creamy custard.
The only pies I like with custard, the apple and custard pies.
Yeah, they're like that sort of thing, but they're mincemeat and custard, lush.
Are they?
Yeah, really nice. Anyway, on that
Don't
note,
get hungry.
guys, yeah, happy Christmas.
Yes, happy
Yeah.
Christmas, everybody.
We're looking forward to staff meetings. We're looking forward to next year. We're looking forward to doing lots of different things and making it a great place to work, great teamwork,
Yeah.
communication, happy, positive. Yeah, we deserve that after the COVID.
We've been through a lot, I think. And I think us lot all should be quite proud of as a massive team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because all the carers managed to go out through lockdown.
Oh,
We
absolutely
didn't
amazing.
we didn't really struggle, did we really?
Never had any problems whatsoever. Everyone was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely proud of the workforce for that. Everyone who
I
works.
was expecting some to go, I'm not coming to work, I'm not going to do this, not going to do that.
To be terrible.
Yeah.
It's done.
None of it.
And yeah, everything was positive though. It was really good.
Commitment. Yeah, just there all the way through, wasn't it? Excellent, without a shadow of a doubt. So, happy Christmas, guys.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Okay.